Hey, missed me? So I finally got my setup back and completed my thrilling and extremely exciting moves around 3 countries, so now I am finally all yours. During this extremely exciting period of my life, I did what any responsible adult in my place would do. Escapism. I dedicated my time to a game that was after my heart since I was 13. At first, you don't really get it. You try to play it like you'd play any other game, to win. And then, little by little, you start to slowly understand what it's about. It is the game that isn't meant to be played. It's meant to be let to play you. It slowly immerses you into the story and makes you think you control it, only to build up into something you could have never anticipated. It is a perfect sandbox and an ultimate story generator. And this game is RimWorld. If you've seen screenshots of this game, you'd probably think it's just another colony sim, where you need to expand your colony and reach some objective. And on the surface, that's exactly what RimWorld is. And that's exactly what I saw in 2014, when my school friends suggested that this game might be better than Dota. The game starts with your colonists crash landing on a distant world and sets the objective to build a ship and leave the planet. Your colonists are at the center of the story, having their character traits, skills and backstories with past relations. And that's it. From this point on, you are completely free to do whatever you like. You can choose to roleplay the colonists' backgrounds, create a religion, become a vassal of a shattered empire, or fight against it. You can raid other settlements on the map, or you can be a ranger and tame animals. You can dig into a mountain to feel like you're playing Dwarf Fortress, or you can build a non-mountain base and spend unreasonable amounts of time trying to make it look somewhat attractive. You can rescue strangers without hoping for a reward, or you can enslave them and force them to wear nice outfits. You can choose to help other characters that ask your colony for charity, or you can lock them up and take out their organs bit by bit. You get my point. After some time you realize that RimWorld is not about building a ship. And if I'm being honest, I probably finished my saves with building a ship like 2 or 3 times in 11 years. Finishing the game is not its point. The point is playing out a unique story that will never be the same on replays. And the major part of these stories is how the game is built. The game allows you to choose between 3 different storytellers, but in my experience, picking this guy is always too much fun. Storytellers determine what events happen in your game and control the narrative, mixing negative events like raids or harsh weather conditions with positive, like a friendly trader or a random stuff drop. The game adapts to your colony's wealth, sending you stronger and stronger opponents as your colony develops. And as it happens, your colonists might get a random shot in the head. As a proud competitive player, at first, I used to reload my save to keep everyone alive. I couldn't live with the thought that a game could just kill a character that is too important for my colony development. I didn't view it as a story beat, but as an unneeded thorn in my back. But then something happened. One of my main characters, the OG, the legend, has died from a random bullet right to the brain. Other colonists were unscathed, and the raid party that attacked me had some valuable guys that I wanted to capture and recruit. And just this once, I decided to not reload the save and see where this was going. First came the funeral, then the recruitment attempts for the captured raiders, and step by step I got to see how personal this variation of the story has become for me. It doesn't matter what my colonists thought of the new recruits. For me, they were the guys who came and killed one of my favorite characters, which made me as a player biased against them. I didn't care much for them, or their safety in a fight. I used them for work that no one else in the colony would do, and, well, treated them like shit. And all of this could have happened in a real settlement. It's a believable thing to do, even if it's not morally correct. But then, little by little, as the colony continued to live through highs and lows, I somewhat warmed up to them. New recruits came in, and these 2 characters became the old guard, married other colonists, and lived happily ever after. Just kidding, I captured them and put them in drain caskets to be eternal blood farms. You see, only you decide how to react to whatever happens in the game, and almost every option comes out to be a fascinating or a terrifying story to tell. The game also builds up on your individual colonists and their relations with each other. Just like every character is unique and has their own traits and personalities, as well as religious or moral beliefs, they also have opinions of other characters and family ties. One of the colonists that doesn't really fit into your ideology can become a black sheep and suffer insults from other people, which will degrade their mental state and can result in breaks, which range from just having a day off to trying to kill everyone around crazy bonkers style. Of course, relations aren't even on top of the list of things that influence the colonist's mental state. With pain or discomfort, as well as living in a man cave or, God forbid, eating without a table, contributing to the mental downfall of the colonists. So keeping everyone calm and happy is always a top priority. Thankfully, there are a lot of ways to make the colonists happy. First off, the general stuff, like tasty meals, nice bedrooms and workplaces, doing the work that they love, falling in love, sleeping with people they love, etc. But a lot of mood boosters come from what the colonist believes or wants to do. If your ideology is sitting in an actual man cave, your colonist will be unhappy if exposed to too much touching grass. And if you're cosplaying the Greenpeace convention, your colonist will get happy from planting trees. So what makes the game so exciting for me for 11 years straight is how you can always find new ways of playing it. Before I started this video, I decided to completely change my playstyle of building into mountains and recreating the same old base design, and instead try to build a decent non-mountain base. 50 hours in, it looks like this decision wasn't as scary as I thought, and it does actually look somewhat decent. Sometimes things take you decades to just try, and it's so cool that this game is no exception. And this creates nearly endless possibilities for developing your colony's unique and personal story. Of course, if you're not a fan of pointless city builders like Cities Skylines, the idea of the game having basically no goal for you to reach except the ones you set for yourself might not be so appealing. But here's a few major milestones you can set for your colonies in order to have a familiar, goal-achieving experience. First off, I always enjoy playing transhumanists. Something is just so cool about the fact that you can replace almost any body part into a better bionic or architect alternative. In one of my recent games, I did exactly that, collecting all architect implants from traders and crafting some bionic replacements, which resulted in me having probably the most goated character I'll ever have in any of my games. Being transhumanist also opens a new ending for the game, and instead of building a ship and ending the story of your characters there, you can give up your colony to one of the factions and receive a free ticket to any other tile on the map with 5 of your colonists. By doing this, you will get one of 3 parts of the architect map, and when you do 3 times and get a full map, you get the ending every transhumanist hopes to achieve. This option, and also the next 2 ones, require specific DLCs to play out, but if you don't want to buy them and just want to test the game, this option doesn't specifically need the ideology DLC. It's only required for new endings and the transhumanistic ideology perks, but you can find the implants in pure vanilla. There's just not that many of them. The second option is to play as Imperial Nobles, though I do recommend doing it with mods that I will mention later. You will have to put up with demands from your entitled colonists, spend a lot of resources on building beautiful throne and bedrooms, but you will also enjoy psionic powers, imperial equipment, and permits that allow you to ask the Empire for resources or soldiers every once in a while. The Empire has its own ending, which unlocks when your colonists reach the highest title available in vanilla, and pretty much skips the shipbuilding part, though you will need a second state-of-the-art bedroom to fit a noble guest that will take you away from the planet. The third option, which is something I'm doing right now, is to try to create an ultimate xenotype. This option is also made unmeasurably better with mods, specifically the Alpha Genes and Gene Reaper ones, and it opens up a lot of fun for you if your moral compass is as rotten as mine. Capture rare xenotypes, strip them of their genes, and mix it all up in your dark, creepy lab to make the most perfect creature to ever bless this game. These 3 scenarios can help you understand what the game is about and try to play out something memorable. But here's my recent game that stepped out of my initial outline and became even better. I just love the blood court ideology meme that is added by Alpha Memes mod, which makes the strongest melee fighter the leader of the colony. And in order for other colonists to claim leadership, they will have to duel to death. It opens up so many possibilities for in-colony roleplay and conflict creation, especially when you had a lot of time in the game and want to try something new. So, in my recent game, this guy, I always name the first naked pawn after myself, who was the leader, got a bit freaky and in 3 trimesters exchanged his lover for a daughter. Fuck, I love how randomly the characters can die and create some drama. So as the colony was built on raw strength and power hunger, the girl was raised to be a killing machine. And when she grew up, she got to be the main muscle of the colony. Instead of the father going on all raids and colony defenses, he got some imperial titles and traded his armor for noble robes. But when the colony got raided by a large cluster of mechanoids, he had to step in alongside his daughter. He made one step from the gates and got shot right in the brain. The second that he died, all titles and leadership of the colony was inherited by his daughter, who fought off the mechs and finally got the recognition she deserved. But that wasn't the end. The colony's spiritual leader was able to resurrect the fallen father. But when he woke up, he saw his empire stripped away from him. No longer in power and suffering from complications of his rebirth, he challenges his daughter to a duel to get his throne and titles back. But he overestimated himself. After months of making his daughter do all the fighting for him, and after a humiliating death that must have been permanent, he was no match for his child. As he collapsed with a slit throat, he might have even tried to beg for mercy, but his lessons have been taken well. His psychic talent must have not been wasted, and so it wasn't. His essence was consumed and his skull became a decoration, a reminder to any who will dare to claim the birthright of Isabel. Fucking hell, this could be a novel. Of course, the game doesn't give you the same narration that I just did, but if you have just a little bit of fantasy, your games will be no less enjoyable. And this game happened just recently and became one of my most memorable ones, so even after more than a decade of playing, I can still find new ways of playing and building a story. And judging by how big the game's community has grown, new features and story beats are growing even further. RimWorld has 4 DLCs, one of which I never bought or played, as it doesn't really match what I'm looking for in the game, so I won't talk about it at all. But the other 3 are the masterpieces that expanded the game in ways that I didn't even think were needed until I played them. The Royalty DLC added psionics, noble titles, and cool implants and technology, all acquired from interacting with the Shattered Empire, a Dune-esque faction, which I will mention a bit later when I'll talk about my personal contribution to the game. As it was the first DLC, it sets up a lot of new mechanics, but in my personal opinion, mods like Vanilla Expanded make use of them so good that I cannot play an unmodded Empire run. Oh, and it also added slavery. Oh my God! These DLC started to make the game's world a bit closer to Dune. Dealing with the Empire is a big task of its own, as you cannot trade with their cities if you don't have a proper title. Sometimes they give you quests that get you honor, which gives you titles. And titles mean entitlement. If the colonist you choose is arrogant, greedy, and otherwise self-servient, they will outright refuse to do most of the valuable work in your colony, demand you feed them lavish meals, and dump a lot of resources into beautiful throne rooms and bedrooms. Real politics. In exchange, you get access to psionics, which is not too overpowered in vanilla, new technologies like drill hands and love enhancers, top sets of armor, and a new ending which I already told you about, which is especially handy if you are playing as a Neolithic tribe and have to research the whole tree with debuffs to get to the ending. But if you don't really want to play politics and spend massive resources into jiggling the balls of your entitled colonists, you can side with deserters and go against the Empire, stealing the Psylings from their base and having a beef with the most powerful faction in the game. It's fun, if you want the raids to be really ass-warming. All in all, a lot of new mechanics and flavor, which is made even better with mods. The Ideology DLC added sets of morals, rules, and religious practices to the game. It's my personal favorite, and it's so crucial for role-playing your colony that I don't even know how I did it before it released. From nudistic ranchers to blood-feeding cannibals, your colony's ideology shapes your colony's way and drives it where you want to see it. It's the reason of my most fond memories and stories about this game, and it's the best DLC there could ever be. This DLC adds so many crimes against humanity that I can't even start to mention them all. And it also adds hippies. Choose your poison, I guess. And there's also a biotech DLC that adds racism.
Oh my God!
And, well, races. It also adds pregnancy, children, and I know you've been waiting to see this one, child slavery.
Oh my God!
Honestly, if you haven't heard of the game before and this is the first video you see on it, I'm sorry, I'm just having fun. You know, when I was 11, I took a summer job and handed out flyers for a local shop that sold doors and windows on a community market in 35 degrees Celsius, and I felt really proud about it. But this guy, being 8 years old, is grinding that rock like crazy, bruh. Okay, I need to stop. Okay, now back to war crimes. If you're tired of your colonists being so weak and, normal, you can try to use eugenics to create a race of godly beings. DLC adds one of such consisting of Playboy Cardi fans that can live forever and survive nearly every wound just to listen to Evil Jordan again. The vampires or the sanguiphages are the OP race as they don't age, heal scars, don't die from anything but a bullet to the brain, don't get sick, don't sleep, with just one small downside. Every now and then they will have to lie down in a coffin and listen to IM music for several days straight. And they also drink blood. Duh. DLC also adds furries, combat junkies, regular junkies, smart people that fall down from a touch, D&D tieflings, TikTok looks maxers, sexy cat girls, and me when I don't post for a year. And sure, the mods make this DLC even better. All I'm saying is how endless your options in building a colony are, okay? And you know what makes them truly endless?
Legalize nuclear bombs.
Swag Messiah.
The modding community in RimWorld is insane. So much so that even I somehow got involved in it, without any previous experience in game dev. Mods range from little quality of life improvements, like allowing you to customize the work assigned to colonists even more precisely, to completely overhauling the game, like adding elements of popular sci-fi or fantasy franchises. Probably one of the most popular mod packs, Vanilla Expanded, deeply enhances the existing mechanics of the game. If in Vanilla the Empire is just a powerful faction that is dangerous only by sending raids with pretty powerful enemies, with Vanilla Expanded's mods for Empire and Deserted factions, you can involve yourself into an actual Star Wars or Dune-inspired guerrilla war. If you side with the Empire, you will get lots of new benefits, like vassalizing Imperial settlements and receiving a regular resource drop, or summoning entire armies of Imperial soldiers. But your authority will not be uncontested, as the deserters now pose an actual threat to you. Time out of time, you'll start hearing a ticking sound and will have to scour your base in order to find a hidden bomb. Sometimes the deserters infiltrate the friendly caravans of other factions, and once you send someone out to trade, reveal themselves and strike. When I first saw that happening, it was like I was playing a completely different game. Playing as a deserter is much more fun in my opinion, as you get to collect Imperial intel and start to make your way to eliminate the whole hierarchy of nobles up to the Emperor. And you don't do it for free, as you get access to a whole new black market that gives you access to Imperial technology in exchange for intel. The bigger your impact on the war is, the more exposed you get, so you also have to balance your visibility to the Empire and don't make them too angry, as if you do, your whole map gets demolished. This creates an insane amount of unique stories that can play out in your games, and this is just 2 mods from one pack that I'm showing you. There are also mods meant for total conversion of the game into other franchises, like GrimWorld 40k that transforms the game into a Warhammer 40k strategy. There are also countless mods for Star Wars conversion and many interesting fantasy-themed ones, like those that expand on psionics. And here's where I start to talk about my own experience with modding. You see, me and my friends loved the Dune movies. The Dune universe was something that I surprisingly overlooked in sci-fi, and I enjoyed every second of learning more about the lore and the setting of the book series. At some point, we got so excited that we wanted to play our own Dune-themed RimWorld run. But what surprised us is that there wasn't a lot of mods related to bringing the world of Dune to the game. No organized team working on a total conversion series of mods. And that's when we decided to try and make a small contribution to that by making an armor and weapon pack dedicated to the Harkonnen house. A few months later, we released our first ever community mod, which seems to have hit the spot and get us over 200,000 views on RimWorld's official subreddit and over 8,000 downloads on Steam, which we consider to be an insane success without any prior experience or expectations. It's also important to note that I personally am not a developer or an artist, and you must be grateful for it, as my hands are growing out of a wrong place. I'm just handling communications and blog posts and essentially everything related to texts, including the posts in RimWorld subreddit. But the fact that I am personally involved in building something in the game that I loved since I was a kid is its own reward, and it makes me feel stuff that I cannot even properly describe. Same thing when I get hundreds of thousands of views on 15 minutes of ranting about the story I didn't like. RimWorld is personal for me, and it allows me to immerse myself into the stories that become personal for me. And I don't care if this video will be seen by 2 people who already know how cool the game is. I have to do it out of respect and care for what this game made me feel. If for some reason you clicked on this video and watched up to this point and never played RimWorld before, you must try it. Don't set any expectations and don't try to play it like any other game. Just go with the flow and let it tell you your personal story, not make you play a linear one. This video is a personal love letter to everyone who lent a hand in creating this masterpiece, and to every community member working on making this game expand into something you didn't imagine possible before trying it out. If you'd like to try RimWorld, the link is in the description. If you'd like to try our mod and see what the team is cooking up next, like the Atreides faction, the links are in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then.